Today, we're going to dive into the absolutely wild story of Hollywood's most notorious hacker. This is the guy who brought the entire entertainment industry to its knees, not with some super complex code, but with a search engine and a really dangerous obsession. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so picture this. It's October 2011, and a wave of pure panic is crashing through Hollywood. We're talking private, incredibly intimate photos of A-list celebrities just appearing online, spreading like wildfire. This isn't just some gossip column rumor, it is a full-blown crisis.
And the list of victims, it's just staggering. We're talking Scarlett Johansson, Mila Kunis, Christina Aguilera, and over 50 other huge names. I mean, their most private moments were being turned into a public spectacle, and nobody had a clue who was next or how to make it stop. So, naturally, the FBI launches this massive manhunt. They're assuming they're up against some shadowy hacking syndicate using, military-grade tech. But the reality? It's almost unbelievable. The guy behind it all was a 35-year-old unemployed man in Florida who had never written a single line of code in his life. His main weapon? Google. So that brings us to the central question of this whole story. How in the world did one guy, Christopher Cheney, manage to break into the digital lives of Hollywood's elite and, for a while there, run circles around the federal agents who were chasing him? Well, the answer is both shockingly simple and, honestly, pretty disturbing. To really understand how he did it, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, to that first moment he found an unlocked digital door just waiting for him. You see, Cheney's strategy was kind of brilliant in its simplicity. He didn't go after a superstar right away. Nope. He targeted a celebrity stylist named Simone Harouche. She wasn't famous, but she was connected to everyone who was. She was that one weak link that could unravel the whole chain. And this was his whole playbook, a simple 5-step method. He could just rinse and repeat. Target an account, click forgot password, and then just Google the answer to the security question. A weakness that, let's be honest, is still way too common today. But step 5? That was the real stroke of genius. After he got in, he set up a rule to secretly forward a copy of every single email to his own inbox. Just like that, he became an invisible ghost in her digital life. And what was the key that unlocked that very first door? What is your mother's maiden name? It's an answer he found in just a few minutes, printed in an old online wedding announcement he dug up with a simple Google search. And this just perfectly shows the domino effect, right? By breaking into that one stylist's account, Cheney didn't just get her emails, he got her entire address book. All of a sudden, he had the private email addresses and phone numbers of more than 50 of Hollywood's biggest names. He had the map. So let's keep going and see how this thing snowballed from a single intrusion into this full-blown 11-month surveillance operation, all fueled by this growing, dangerous obsession. Using that exact same simple method, he just started tearing through Hollywood's inner circle. Account after account, they just kept falling. And on his totally normal stock Dell computer, he built this disturbing archive: unreleased film scripts, contracts, medical records, legal battles, entire lives, all cataloged and stored away. But there was one person who became his obsession, kind of the crown jewel for his massive ego: Scarlett Johansson. She was known for being incredibly private, and for him, breaking into her account became the ultimate challenge. After trying for weeks, he finally got in, and once he was inside her cloud backup, he went straight to a folder labeled DCIM. For anyone who doesn't know, this is just the default folder where a phone or camera stores all of its photos. It's basically the digital version of a photo album. And how did he get in? The security question was, what was the name of your first pet? The answer, Trooper, was a tiny detail she had mentioned just one time, in a throwaway line in a magazine interview from the early 2000s. A forgotten piece of trivia became the key to her entire private life. It's incredible. Now, for months, Cheney was just content to sit back and watch from the shadows. But then, something shifted. This invisible man suddenly developed a desperate need for recognition. He decided it was time to show the world what he'd done. And you can almost hear him thinking this, right? He was sitting on secrets that could end careers and destroy marriages. The thrill of just knowing wasn't enough anymore. He wanted the power and the validation that came with it. And just like that, he lit the match. In September 2011, he started leaking photos to gossip sites. First Aguilera, then Kunis, and then the bombshell. Scarlett Johansson's private photos went viral, sparking this massive global media firestorm and, you guessed it, a major federal investigation.
So the FBI officially launches Operation Hakarazzi, and they put some serious resources from their cyber division into hunting down the person who was terrorizing Hollywood.
But this is where the story takes its most unbelievable turn. As the FBI started hunting this digital ghost, the ghost started hunting them right back.
You see, those email forwarding rules he set up months ago, they were still active. So when the FBI agents started emailing the victims to coordinate the investigation, every single one of their emails was automatically copied and sent straight to Cheney. He was reading their entire investigation in real time. The hunters were unknowingly briefing their prey. It's insane.
He must have felt invincible. But after weeks of this high-wire act, he finally slipped up. He was exhausted, logged into an account to check for new messages, and for just 10 seconds, he forgot to hide his location. He connected directly. That's all it took. The FBI spotted a single IP address that didn't belong, and they traced it to Jacksonville, Florida. That one 10-second mistake brought his entire world crashing down, and in the aftermath, the true, devastating human cost of his obsession became brutally, painfully clear. Christopher Cheney was arrested in a dawn raid. The judge, who called his crimes as serious as physical stalking, gave him the maximum sentence, 10 years in federal prison.
But no sentence could ever undo the damage. In a really powerful victim impact statement, actress Renee Olstead revealed she had attempted suicide after her photos were leaked. And her words, they just drive home the reality of this crime. This was never a prank. It was a profound violation that had devastating consequences.
So, what's the key takeaway here for all of us? Well, Shani's method still works today because, let's be real, many of us rely on the same weak security, publicly known answers to security questions, reused passwords. The tools to protect yourself are out there. Two-factor authentication, password managers, but they only work if you actually use them. So this leaves us with one last, kinda sobering question. I want you to think about your own digital life for a second. Your email, your photos, your cloud accounts. Are they locked behind a strong, modern defense? Or are they just protected by a simple trivia question you might have answered on some social media site years ago?